Hello, welcome to the Lalantia show. Today I'm coming on to talk to you about 5 reasons, 5 reasons, I didn't know if it was ways or reasons, 5 reasons that a psychic may use tarot and oracle cards. And why? Why does a psychic need cards? So for those of you who don't know me already, my name is Lalantia. I'm a psychic realm channeler and energy healer. I work with magical realms to bring through guidance, healing, and support to help you to connect to the magic of who you really, truly are without society's conditioning and little boxes that we tend to be placed in or place ourselves in. So why would a psychic need to use tarot and oracle cards? First of all, a psychic doesn't need to, but sometimes they are beneficial to use. Now, I will tell you a little bit of my experiences and how things are for me and my perspective and, my opinion. So when I work with clients one-on-one in a one-on-one session, whether it's a one-off session or a coaching and we meet every week, I almost never use cards. They're just not necessary. I don't need them. I'm channeling around certain topics that we're talking about. I don't need cards to see another perspective because their guides, my guides, all the energy is coming in. It's easy peasy for me to just go deep into it. The cards are completely unnecessary in those situations. So I do not use them for that. However, I do use cards as a daily draw for me to share within my business. So on social media, I do generally draw a card a day or about every day. Some days I don't, but most of the time I have a card a day and I can channel from that card. I can channel, on the energy or just like reading the energy or an energy that is coming in around that card specifically. That is the cards themselves carry an energy, so there's a lot just within them, but they also have like activations and they're beautiful to look at, and this is one reason why I like to work with cards. So that is how I use them generally myself, sometimes for using them for myself, because even as a psychic, we can get caught up in our head around things regarding ourselves. Yeah, it's easy for me to go and channel for other people, but when it comes to me, and I think any psychic can probably say this, it can be harder to see the bigger perspective. It can be hard to get out of your head and allow yourself to see what is real. So sometimes the cards can provide that provide that extra thing to help you see what is in your subconscious, right? And help you dive deeper into things. I don't use them a lot, but sometimes I might do like a moon reading, one of the moon cycles. Sometimes I draw a card. If I'm really in my head around a situation, a card can provide some clarity and understanding and a different perspective on what it is that I'm going through. Sometimes it gives that additional like support that you may need. So I do use them sometimes for that. Now, when I first began, I did use cards a lot more often, and I'm going to go into that when I'm talking about the 5 things. So the first thing that I want to talk about, number 1, is the hook. So when you are a psychic and you are channeling or bringing through information, it helps to have a hook. This is why a lot of times when people are channeling, they say, ask a specific question, because then you have a hook. You don't have to just go into the energy with nothing and try to grab onto something that is there. If you pull a card, you have a hook. You have one thing that you can focus on bringing through more information from that one thing. So this is sometimes why when people are channeling in like a group for free or just pulling cards for people in that way, that they may use cards in the first place because it gives them a hook to help bring through guidance for these people who are wanting a card. Sometimes people have a lot of questions that cards don't necessarily bring the best clarity around. If somebody's asking, well, when am I going to get into a relationship with so-and-so? Cards aren't really going to answer that thing. So it's kind of different for everyone. It's finding that, it can be harder to use cards for specific questions. But if you are channeling without cards, and specific questions are helpful because you have a hook. Does that make sense? So if I'm channeling in a group for lots of people that I may not know, if I'm going to channel without using cards, then I'm going to prefer having a specific question. Although sometimes I do channel, like, seeing what guides are coming through, what they have to say, and without a question. But having a hook does speed up the process. It can make things go a lot faster. So if they ask a question, then I can just answer the question of what I read in the energy or whatever the guides are saying when they come through. Now, if people don't know what to ask, and a lot of times people don't know what to ask, or they're focused on the wrong thing, then cards can be really helpful. And cards are just fun to work with anyways. If you draw a card, you can channel from the card itself. It can provide that hook to help you understand what the focus is on, right? Does that make sense? All right, so number 2 is the energy. So cards have energy. Each of the cards have their own energy. So you can get all of these different kinds of cards, so many different decks out there. So many decks to choose from. These are I just grabbed a few. So all of them have an energy. So that's why it's amazing to have so many of them, because you want different decks, a different sort of energy coming forward for different things. So that's why you go by, oh, this deck feels right for my energy right now and what I'm looking for. And, if you're doing like a love reading or something, then there's going to be specific decks that might be better for that. Like this one is good for romance and self-love and stuff. And so they all have a different energy. And it's nice sometimes to bring in this energy. Now, you can use them. How a psychic may use them for their energy is, like I had said, about drawing a card a day and channeling from that. Now, for some cards, they have specific beings. So Kyle Gray and his Keepers of the Light, each card is a different being. So then if you are learning to channel, or you are already a channel, you can just channel that being that's coming through. So that is how I had started my journey as a channel. This deck was actually a big part of that. I believe it was this deck, where I didn't even realize what I was doing in the beginning. I would just draw a card, I would bring through a message, and then I'd be like, wow, that's really clear, and I don't have a clue where that came from. And people started telling me that I was channeling. So it can be a really helpful way in learning how to channel. And each of them has their own energy. Now you can also use these cards on an altar to hold that energy of something that you're bringing in. So let's say you have, I don't have one by me right now, but if you had a deck that was a crystal deck, you can use some of those crystals on your altar to bring that energy. Now, maybe you have a altar for self-love. You could pull some mermaid cards. Maybe you want to pick them specifically, not randomly, just pull them. And you can use them on your altar to bring in that energy and hold that energy there around that specific thing. Does that make sense? So they're amazing to put on your altar for that energy. Number 3, I have mentioned this before. I'm going to say it again though, because it is important, and I didn't list it the first time, obviously. Excuse me, is clarity. It can help bring clarity to situations. So if you're pulling cards for yourself, they can provide clarity that maybe you might not be seeing because you're stuck in your own head. They can provide clarity, and maybe actually this kind of comes up to the next one that I was going to talk about. They can provide clarity, right? So something that you may maybe be thinking about, maybe you're just not seeing the whole picture, that can help you to see that bigger picture, right? So number 4 is validation. And this kind of goes along with clarity, to be honest. When I look at it, it can really go hand in hand, but validation is more, it is what you already kind of know, you have already kind of gone into, and it can validate that you are right in that, and help you gain more confidence in yourself and your own skills. And I can attest to this, that they do provide that validation when you are first learning how to use your psychic abilities. They can help like really confirm that, yes, this is what you're getting. This is what is coming through, and that you are correct, and that you're not a crazy person or just making it up. because we do tend to think that we're making it up when we're first learning how to channel and use our psychic abilities. So number 5, I did already mention number 5, but we're going to go into it as number 5, is to channel. And like I said, I already talked about this a little bit. I forgot that it was actually listed as one of the numbers, but I talked about this for number 2 is the energy. I believe that's when I mentioned it. So when you are drawn to a deck and the deck has specific beings, you can channel those beings. So this is from Keepers of the Light deck. So you could randomly pull a card, that being comes forward, and you can begin to channel with them. You just trust in the universe. You set your intentions. Always set your intentions that you're only going to channel them, and that they're for the highest and best good, the deepest of love, the highest of integrity, all of that. You still want to set the intentions around it, but the cards can really help to bring through that energy and help you feel that connection with them. But let's say that the deck doesn't have specific beings. So it may not be channeling. Well, it's still channeling, I guess. What one? Oh yeah, I was going to do the Blessed Be deck. So the Blessed Be deck by Lucy Cavendish has loads of stuff within the images themselves. I'm just going to pick one randomly. Oh, that one doesn't have as much. They have a lot of stuff in a lot of them. So here we go. So this image, look at all of the different things that are within this image. So when you look at this, your own psychic abilities can begin to kind of be awakened. Okay, so what are the things that stand out to you? What are the colors that stand out? What are the images that stand out? What is the feeling that you get from it? The overall feeling you get from it. Begin to take notes on this. Take notes on the things that are coming through for you that you feel from this image. The owl, you notice the owl? What does the owl mean to you? Maybe that brings through that wisdom. The crystal ball, what does the crystal ball mean to you? Well, kind of funny that I drew this one for this, right? Because to me, that is about seeing, or even representing psychic abilities in general. I think of it as seeing and the psychic ability of seeing. Now, there are so many different things in this image that symbolize so many different things. Maybe the tree stands out to you. Maybe the rock stands out to you. The colors, there's so many different things that you can get from this. So maybe you're not channeling this being as a being, but you're bringing through that energy. You're connecting to the energy of the card and the message that is specific for you from this image. Now, this is one reason why I really, really, really love this deck, because there's so much within the images. This is a Blessed Be deck. So you can get a lot of information just from looking at the image. Of course, there's words on it. It says a blessing on your intuition. So this card is about the general, meaning is about your intuition, but you can get a lot more because this image is so full of stuff for you to glean information from. Now, tarot cards are often that same way. Now, tarot has a system, so yes, you can use that system of knowing, but the cards themselves, and we're going to draw a random one here from the middle, the cards themselves hold energy and information within the cards. So, what stands out to you? What does it mean to you? You don't have to have the tarot memorized. You don't have to know all of the meanings, and you can get a lot of information just from the image, and that can help you with deepening your own intuition. But as a psychic, it can help bring things to the surface that maybe you weren't seeing on your own. So hopefully this video helps you, make sense to you. If you have any questions, please post them below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.